as the highlights of the very known match of 5-day festival at Rugby League Oldham for Scotland. Tickets are available now. Just search online for very known match.
Welcome to Game Day Live here on the Sportsman. The playoffs start now. It is knockout rugby league football from here on in, and we have got an absolute belter to get us up and running in the Betfred Championship. Oldham versus Halifax in the Eliminators. 80 minutes to keep your season going for one more week. Alongside me, a man that used to be out in the middle for games like this, up in the stands with us today, Ian Smith. Ian, Championship's been a very exciting division all year. It gets even better, doesn't it, when it comes down to these knockout games?
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt, Lewis. You know, it, like you just said, it's knockout rugby, it's elimination. There's no next week. You know, they go on Mad Monday, on Monday they lose. So it's really, really important that they get the result tonight. And listening to both coaches, I think they're really up for this game tonight, and both fancy the chance, as you would do, because every team is capable of beating any team, especially when you get to knockout rugby league. So it's just the bounce of the ball, the referee's decision, who wants it most, and both teams are coming in hopefully full of confidence.
And we've seen consistently throughout this season the top six chopping and changing, everyone beating everyone. There is a real kind of sense that no one knows what's going to happen tonight.
No, it's like you said, could be a bounce of a ball, but I just think that Oldham have beaten Halifax twice this season. So maybe they've got one over on them. But Kyle wants, Halifax fired up for this. He might use that as his pre-match team talk, that they all Oldham a result today. So, but I would imagine that Sean Long will be quietly confident, because on paper, I know the game's not played on paper, Oldham have got some incredible players, lots of ex-Salford players, as we know. So I think on paper, Oldham are probably favourites, playing at home as well. But you never know in knockout rugby league.
Oh, it is all on the line tonight here at Boundary Park. Let's hear from the two head coaches, Kyle Eastman of Halifax and Oldham's Sean Long. Sean, thank you for joining us. A big night, of course. What's preparation been like?
Preparation's been good. We had no game last week, so freshened a few lads up. But we've had 3 good sessions leading into this game, so looking forward to it, mate.
Is there an element of kind of managing pressure and managing mentality tonight? A season's work comes down to 80 minutes. Have you spoken about that at all, or are you treating it as a normal game?
We have spoken about it. It's been a long season, played a lot of games, a lot of time and effort, and it all boils down to 80 minutes, doesn't it? So yeah, we have spoke about it, about not leaving anything out on the field, emptying your tank, and giving everything what we need to get the win.
Can you sort of pay any attention, put any meaning on the previous meetings of Halifax this season, or is this a clean slate tonight?
You can always get a couple of things out the last time we played them, but they've all been physical games. Both gate times they've been really physical. We just probably iced a couple of players in good ball the first time we played them here, and the second time it just went down to the wire. A really physical game at Odsal. So yeah, we're expecting nothing less. It's going to be a tough game, but semi-final's a semi-final. It's what you do in 80 minutes, like we just spoke about.
We've seen in the top 6, the Championship all season, everyone kind of beating everyone. How significant is it to be on your own patch tonight?
Yeah, massive. We worked so hard to get a home tie. We wanted to get that 4th spot, and we've thoroughly deserved it. But now it's all about putting in a performance, here tonight against a really good Halifax team. Carl's gone well tuned in. They've won the last 5, so they'll be coming here with a lot to play. But we need to meet that physical battle up through the middle. I think that's where we had a little bit of joy last time, through the middle, and just keep turning up for one another. I think it's all about icing big moments in 80 minutes. That's the key for us tonight.
Well, best of luck tonight.
Thank you.
Carl, thank you for joining us. Obviously a big game. What's your week leading into this one been like?
Yeah, it's been a good week. Getting the boys into the right positions that they need to be in to play in a game like this, and also enjoying it as well. This is what you play rugby for, and this is what they deserve through what they've done this season, and look, yeah, we're looking forward to it.
They're funny games these, aren't they? Because it's still rugby league, but as soon as you put a kind of knockout playoff spin on things, they take on a very different sort of angle.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I agree with what you're saying, but I also think you've got to be very careful before you start, making things into something that it's not. It's still a game of rugby league, like you say. Something that our players have managed to do well this season. So, look, we're very aware of what the significance of the game, but also let's just concentrate on ourselves and make sure we're in the right place to perform.
And these eliminators, that whole top six really, the Betfred Championship's been so tight this season. There must be a feeling that anyone can beat anyone in this playoff system now. Yeah,
I think this league's shown that all year. I always say to the lads, you turn up or you're slightly off and you'll be beaten in this league, and that's true. None more so than playing against a quality team like Oldham tonight. They've got some very experienced players and some good quality players in there. So look, we have to be on our game, which we will be. We're looking forward to it.
You've obviously had to come away from home. It's a Friday night. I'm sure you've had players that have been at work today. How have you kind of gone about managing that and trying to keep feet on the ground?
Yeah, of course, yeah. It's the same for everybody, isn't it? So, look, we've just got to do the right thing by our preparation and by our performance. And the lads have done that. They've done that not just this week, they've done it all season for me. So I really respect that. And look, there'll be no excuses. We're prepared and we're ready for a good battle.
Well, best of luck tonight.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Nice one. So the road to the Betfred Championship Grand Final starts here on the Sportsman. Oldham against Halifax. Let's have a look at the lineups this evening. Starting off with the home team, and Ryan Brierley starts at full-back behind a wing pairing of Ethan Ryan and Phoenix Lola Tongagai. Inside them in the sentence, Ben O'Keefe and Ben Davies, with Morgan Smith and Josh Drinkwater in the halves. They play behind a pack fronted up by Jack Ormonroyd and Gil Dudson, with Matty Wildey inside them at hooker, Tom Whitehead and Matty Ashurst playing a pack that is locked in by Adam Milner. Coming off the bench for Oldham this evening, Jay and Ted Chapelhow, the two twins in action, alongside Owen Farmworth and George Hurst, providing the reinforcements for Sean Long. For the visitors, they've made the short trip over the Pennines, and they will start off with David Nofuuma at full back, Ben Tibbs and Charlie Graham outside him on the wings, and a centre pairing of Ben Crooks and Alfie Johnson. James Woodburn Hall is joined by George Whitby on loan from St Helens in the halves. Brandon Douglas and Ronan Dixon have Adam O'Brien inside them in the front row. Adam Tangatar and Owen McCarran are in the second row, with Jacob Fairbank completing the 13 for the Panthers. And coming off the bench, Viaheli Fihi, Tom Inman, Brad Graham and Will Colcott will provide impetus for Kyle Eastman. Playoff football, knockout rugby league. It doesn't get much better than this. The leaves have turned brown on the trees and the temperature has gone up in the world of rugby league. Alongside me for this one, Ian Smith. Not too long ago, you'd have been out there officiating these kind of games. It doesn't matter what role you've got to play in the stadium tonight, these are special days.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. The whole season, whether you're a player, whether you're a match official, it's all geared up to these last few rounds, the business end of the season, as they call it, and we're really looking forward to it tonight. There's a good crowd building, to be fair, Lewis, and there's a good atmosphere. Like you say, it's quite a nice, balmy night tonight, so the pitch is looking absolutely perfect, and really looking forward to an absolute cracker.
Yeah, uncharacteristically warm for a Friday night at Boundary Park, and as you say, a strong crowd. They're expecting over 2,000 here tonight for this one. Oldham, of course, champions of Betfred League One last season, have continued that momentum on in this Betfred Championship campaign. Halifax under Kyle Eastman, well, we were there very early on in the year to see their Betfred Challenge Cup clash with Catalan Dragons. They impressed on that occasion. Can they do so again in similar knockout circumstances? Toulouse and York await in the semi-finals, but we will find out tonight. Bradford in action against Featherstone, of course, at the same time, who will be heading through to play for a space in the Betfred Championship Grand Final in a few weeks' time. So much to talk about off the field this season, but tonight it is all about the action on it. As we get into playoff season, it is fantastic to have you with us here on The Sportsman. This is what we do, this is what we love. Rugby league under the lights here in Oldham, two famous old clubs, and more history on the line tonight. And as we've mentioned, plenty of people in the stands to see this one, and plenty of you watching on at home on what is a busy night of rugby league. Ian, how important is it going to be the first 5-10 minutes of this game?
Oh, it's always about the arm wrestle early doors. Who's going to get field position, who's going to get possession, who's going to crack first, and those first points are always important.
Well, Halifax take to the field. A fantastic travelling army of Panthers supporters in the corner of that stand on the far side. They've been beaten twice by Oldham already this season, but maybe they are on a revenge mission on the biggest stage of all. And here come the home team. Matty Wildey leads out Oldham. So much experience in this team. They will need all of that tonight. It is do or die in the Betfred Championship. For one of these teams, the season ends tonight. For the other one, well, the quest for glory in the second tier goes on at least another week. And I tell you what, a clear night, floodlights on, fantastic crowd, big game. The atmosphere inside this place, it is absolutely superb.
It is, yeah, it's built very nicely. From over the last half hour, the Halifax fans have come in numbers in the bottom left-hand corner there, and it's going to be an exciting game. This is where, as the referee, Matty Lynn, you know, it's a big game for him. Knockout rugby league for the referee as well. Will he get another game next week? Does it depend on his performance tonight? So not only it could be jeopardy for the referee and the match officials. So it's all exciting. We're all good to go.
So Oldham have just gone over to that far side to acknowledge the home crowd here. It will be the home team in their traditional red and white stripes who get us underway, kicking from right to left on your screen to Halifax Panthers in their black and gold change strip. And of course, two head coaches who once upon a time were lighting up the Betfred Super League. They've got a job on their hands tonight to keep their side season ticking along for one more week at least in the Betfred Championship. It's a long, long season. Those cold weekends in February feel like a long time ago.
On you. Time it.
But we can count the games left on one hand, and we are underway in the playoffs. Live and exclusive on The Sportsman. Halifax with first taste of the football. And straight away, Oldham's kick chase, very good. 3-4 players in the tackle, forcing Halifax back to just within a few metres of their own line. Second effort, strong again. Dudson in there for Oldham.
Wait, Adam. Wait.
Joined by Ashurst. And from a Halifax perspective, they very much just want to get through this first set of the game, put a good kick in and settle into the arm wrestle.
Absolutely, and Oldham really quick off the line. The first up hit's absolutely fantastic in these first four tackles. You know, they've limited Halifax to less than 20 metres at the moment.
So David Nofaluma, all that NRL experience, of course, West Tigers top try scorer, managing to just get facts on the front foot. That is the last though, so the kick will come in, and Lola Tonga guy, PLT as he's known around these parts, will mop it up. Look to try and find a yard or so of space in the Halifax line. There's not one on offer. And Oldham, you would expect, as we've just seen the visitors do, will probably keep this tight in the opening set for them of the evening. Just play the game within the tram lines for the time being as Davis brings up the next carry. Wildly in at acting half, he'll bring us out himself, then short side and straight away Oldham on the front foot. Here's Lola Tonga guy again coming up towards the 20. He's forced back by Crooks, but decent progress made on that short side play by Oldham. Wildly out to Drinkwater. It's that ball to Milner. To Smith, and hand in the air from the referee. So first opportunity to see an attacking kick for either team. They'll come out to the right-hand side, high in the air, and brought him well, but Oldham will look for the sideline, and they'll find it. And Ian, that is about as good a start as Sean Locke could have wanted.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure it was a good kick. It went a little bit shorter than I think he was planning, but it was caught 3 or 4 metres from the touchline, and what a lot of good defenders do, rather than let the ball carrier get to ground, they catch, they hold, they dance, and they drag him into touch. And really good attacking set for Oldham there. First sets each there. Oldham definitely looking now 15-20 metres out, going to put a real good play on Josh Drinkwater on this left edge. Beautiful pass out to PLT.
So Dudson will play the ball, shape on both sides. I'll come out to the left to Drinkwater again, who just plays a short drop off to Ashurst. He's stopped 11 metres away from the Halifax line. Wildey has options on both sides once more, just to Milner on the right. Now Smith, there's an overlap here if Oldham can use it. Brierley tries to stab a kick through, and it's bobbling about all over the place. And we will come back for a repeat set, I think. Oldham once again opting to take it in the middle. I'm surprised to see them go boot to ball so early on. Brierley perhaps just trying to catch Halifax out.
Yeah, it was a strange one. You're trying to build pressure early doors, especially on the defensive line coming off their own line. I think Oldham got away with one there. It wasn't a great kick, but a knock on by Halifax, and Oldham again in attacking position, scrum 10 metres out centre field.
And Brierley just changing from right to left to add an extra number. In fact, they still decide to go to the right-hand side. Ben O'Keefe will have a crack at the line. He's stopped 8 metres away. Wildey in at dummy half, just to Morgan Smith, and then short ball from him as Oldham continue to try and take the direct route early on in this set. This is Milner. He'll drop it back inside to Jack Ormonroyd, another mid-season recruit from Oldham, from Salford of course. And now could be numbers on this left-hand side. Really good defensive work from Ben Crooks. Brierley at acting half. Drinkwater brings us left to right. Here's Smith. Halifax again level to it in defence, and this is the last, so one more tackle for the Panthers to have to try and negotiate as Oldham put early pressure on Milner. Here's Brierley, could be numbers on this side, and I think it's Crooks who just manages to get a hand to it and knock it down. In fact, it's Charlie Graham who's disrupted it, but some early warning shots from Oldham.
Oh, very much so. Yeah, they worked an overlap there, and they got a 2v1, and that last pass just needed to go to hand. But the centre there, he made an effort to get his hand to it. But again, the pressure's building by Oldham. Just noticed the early doors, Adam Milner's very much at number one on either side. He seems to be taking a lot of the passes. They then go out to Morgan Smith and Josh Drinkwater. So he's very much involved in this game, the early doors.
So many different elements, isn't there, to this attacking side of Oldham. They've got, as you just mentioned, Adam Milner, who's a very good ball player. Ryan Brierley will jump in from full back as well. Just taking the industrial route for the time being, as another repeat set gives them a platform. Here's Dudson trying to muscle his way to the line, stopped just short. This is the closest Oldham have been. He'll play the ball to Matty Wildey, who brings us out to the right hand side to Smith. And Halifax, who have managed to repel everything thrown at them so far in this opening 5 minutes, holding firm again, kick stab through, still bobbling around. It'll be another repeat set. More pressure piled on from the home team.
Oh, this is really good from Oldham. I know you want points early doors, but building pressure, taking the early door, the fatigue out of this Halifax defensive line. There's nothing more tiring than defending all the time, and Oldham have got another lot of possession to come. Superb start from Oldham this, Lewis.
So it will be a goal line dropout for Halifax.
Shot clock off.
Already weathering the storm in this game, but they will take confidence from the fact that they've kept Oldham out so far. Ormonroyd up over the 40, so a full set in their pocket for Oldham to try and make something happen again here. Dudson, the next cab off the rank, he's up towards the 20, finds his front, looks for a quick play the ball. Wildey will come short side, Ashurst just crashes in to 3 Halifax defenders. Wilder comes right to Milner again, he plays up to the line and then finds Morgan Smith, who steps away from one tackle before eventually being wrapped up. Shape is all stacked to this left-hand side. That's the way Wilder comes. Drinkwater out the back they go, could be in on this left-hand side. Halifax again, level to it. That was Davies trying to slice his way through for Oldham. Out it comes to Drinkwater. Kick is towards the near post and it's far too much on it. And Halifax do survive, and now perhaps an opportunity for the Panthers to try and stretch the game down the other end of the field as James Woodburn Hall streaks away. But we talk about the start from an Oldham perspective. Well, there'll be a lot of defensive confidence from a Halifax perspective, having seen that out.
Very much so. Josh Drinkwater is the best kicker in the Championship, and he just put it 2 metres too deep, and it's given Halifax the impetus there to play the ball, I think, in Oldham's half. So they will be very buoyed about a really good defensive 5 minutes there.
So 8 minutes into this game, and the first time really that we have looked to our right-hand side. O'Brien brings us out to the left with Woodburn Hall. Short ball from him to Adam Tangata, who's stopped on the 20. Out to the right-hand side again. This is Fairbank. Kick is stabbed through. Lola Tonga guy has to track back, and he will take the safe option of just batting it out of play. So it's Halifax's turn to get a repeat set.
That's a great set from Halifax to force a repeat set after being under the cosh for the first 7 or 8 minutes. That's a really good little grubber kick, and PLT had no other option but to knock it dead.
Well, George Whitby's had a real breakout year, hasn't he? And another really deftly executed kick from him to force this goal line dropout, and those Halifax fans to our left fire up again.
Thank you.
We've watched their team defend for the bulk of the first 9 minutes of this game, but how quickly rugby league can change. It's the Panthers on the front foot. O'Brien comes, short ball right to Douglas. Douglas up towards the 20, Wildy and Dudson in the tackle for Oldham. Halifax comes short side, McCarron up towards the 20 again. Crooks drifts into acting half. Just keeping it tight for the time being as Ronan Dixon tries to muscle his way through. Options left and right. They come left to Whitby, not for Luma. Big contact comes in on Johnson, and now the kick comes across again. Crooks is up for it, it's going to drop. Can Graham get there? I think he has.
The ball's down in the field of play.
It wasn't dealt with by Oldham. Graham reacted first, and Halifax opened the scoring in the playoffs.
It's been missed by everybody in the
After all that defending, they go up the other end. It's a kick that wasn't dealt with from Oldham, and it's 4 points on the board for Fax.
Yeah, the first 10 minutes, or the first 9 minutes in particular, it was all Oldham, and they were looking like they got an overlap on this left edge, but an outstanding kick there, and the Oldham defence, the Oldham centre and wingers were just nowhere to be seen. He just managed to get the ball down in the corner, and I'd say that's one against the head, really, Lewis. You know, how the game was looking, but you know, really well executed try, a great kick, and just managed to get it down before the touching goal line.
Well, Ben Crooks went up for it. He didn't get a finger on it, but he almost just did enough to make himself a nuisance for Davies. It evaded everyone, and Charlie Graham on the spot to beat the ball to the dead ball line, as you say, and touchdown. And Kyle Eastman, after watching his team defend, will be absolutely delighted with that.
Absolutely delighted. I think for the Oldham winger, Phoenix Lalu Tonga guy, I think he were expecting his centre Ben Davies to make a better effort than that, and it almost took him by surprise. And we know what the rugby league ball's like. When it bounces, it can go in any direction. It just popped up, and a really well executed try, and probably against how the game has gone, and Halifax found themselves 4-0 in front.
It's a difficult kick for Whitby. Puts it to the right hand side of the sticks. It will stay 4-0 to the away side. It was Whitby's kick that caused the problem. Davies just lost the battle with Crooks, neither of them got to it, and then it was just the bounce of the ball, as you alluded to at the top of the show, causing all sorts of problems. It's a funny thing, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
But that's a good response from Oldham.
Great tackle by Oldham.
Force them over the line.
That's infield.
Not quite.
Move.
Halifax will stay in possession, but
Go
you can bet the line speed will be good, and it is. That defensive intensity that we've seen at this end of the pitch from Oldham on display again.
Go to.
And Ofaluma will do his job in yardage, trying to get them on the front foot, does well.
Back. Matty back, go. Well done. I didn't make it.
And O'Brien comes out and then he's taken high. This will be a penalty. Will it be any more than that? We will wait and see.
No, it won't be, Lewis. I'll tell you now, it was just a high grab, lazy grab, and nothing more than a penalty. Yeah.
Just be
You
careful.
see it again. It's just, like you say, a lazy grab. Right decision
Oh, yeah.
from Matt Peet, our referee. He's got that one spot on.
Penalties just give the opportunity again for Halifax to kick downfield. Now they're in an attacking position, just for the lazy arms. Just bend your back and break them in half, Lewis. It's a simple game, rugby league.
Crooks. Ofaluma comes onto that like a steam train and manages to get the ball away to Owen McCarron, who's up over the 20, and straight after scoring, Halifax are on the front foot. They're 6 again as well. Douglas puts the ball up his jumper and charges towards the line. Good progress made. Halifax just meters away. O'Brien with the reverse ball. Still the pressure builds from Halifax. They'll come short side again. I think that's been held up, or has it? Halifax could be in here. They are. And it's Brandon Douglas who's crashed over from short range. It looked for a second as if the Oldham defence had done enough, but Douglas touches down. Halifax go back to back, and all of a sudden Oldham find themselves with a bit of a mountain to climb after 14 minutes.
He just run hard and fast, and he just bumped the defenders off. Just that first up contact, and just managed to get the ball down. At the last try, Matty Lynn was having a word with Matty Wilding, one or two of the Oldham players, about getting quicker off the ruck, and they got a set restart because they didn't listen to him, and that's what it takes. Just a little bit of ill discipline, a high tackle, a set restart. You're offering Halifax into the wrong end of the field as Oldham, but the right end of the field as far as Halifax are concerned, and he's just run hard and he's just gone over. Just watch this here, how he drives and gets to the line. Great try, and well positioned by Matty Lynn to give the try.
An easier assignment for Whitby. Plenty of kickers have fallen foul of my curse over the years, so I won't call it a formality. But Kyle Eastman will be absolutely delighted with the way that his team have responded to being under the cosh. And Whitby does convert, so it is a 10-point lead for the Halifax Panthers here at Boundary Park.
That last 5 or 6 minutes, Lewis, has just been a superb effort from Halifax. They just, like I said, they've got good position, they forced a goal line drop out, and 2 tries out of virtually nothing.
Well, this first 15 minutes has absolutely flown by. We have played this game at breakneck speed. If these two teams could keep this up for the full 80, we are on for an absolute thriller here at Game Day Live on the Sportsman. Great to have you with us. What a start for the Halifax Panthers. They did nothing but defend for the first 8 minutes. They've done nothing but score since. And again, they're on the way down the short side. Oldham just needs to try and regain some level of composure. A penalty and a 6 again that really set that last one up for Halifax. They need to keep the discipline and the errors in check as Halifax again into Oldham real estate as Jacob Fairbank carries. This is the last, so that kick goes high into the air under the lights. Lola Tonga guy tracks across, takes it in cleanly. But the kick chase, good from Halifax, and Oldham will start this set 10 metres away from their own line. And another good defensive effort. First opportunity really for Halifax to try and pin Oldham into their own territory.
Oh, it was a great tackle there. Yeah, the line speed, they're getting off the line and they're hitting, and they're playing a hell of a lot of passion and speed and desire, because it's knockout rugby league, Lewis, and you know, whoever loses goes home, and it's a huge game, and both sides are playing it at breakneck speed, like you've already mentioned.
So the kick goes in. Graham and Nofaluma will just shepherd that one into the corner. Nofaluma brings it in. I'm not entirely sure Ben Crooks wanted that ball, but he's not done a bad job of saving that situation.
Release line. Wait, go one.
So Whitby brings us out to the left-hand side. Charlie Graham stepping one way and then the other, making decent progress.
Hold. Go two.
Outside backs. That back three doing a lot of work.
Three.
For Halifax, and this is Ben Tibbs off his wing, up over halfway. Out they'll come to the right-hand side to Whitby. Brad Graham onto the field for Halifax now with the carry.
Go four.
He'll play the ball to O'Brien. And Jacob Fairbank pokes his nose through the line, so this is the last. It's another attacking platform for Halifax, but this time it's all a bit messy, and Oldham will get the ball back.
It's come off his head, it's not a knock-on. Matty loses it on the floor.
In fact, I think Halifax are going to get the ball back here. It's come off the head of the Halifax player and then knocked on by Matty Wildy. We'll see it again. Ormonroyd who gets it on the nose, and then Wildy who can't bring it in cleanly.
It's one of them strange laws of the game where you can't deliberately head the ball forward, but as long as the ball is accidentally thrown at the head, it goes forward, it's play on, and Matty Wildy knocked on there expecting that it was a first knock on, so yeah, it's an interesting one.
Karen who got it in the head, not Ormonroyd. Just a couple of substitutions to bring you up to speed on Gil Dudson off, Owen Farnworth on for Oldham. For Halifax, as we've just said, Brad Graham onto the field, Ronan Dixon coming off in his place, so probably a mark of how intense this game's been in the first 18 minutes. Both teams already looking to the bench. Halifax find themselves just a couple of metres away once more. Oldham's line speed good on that occasion, but they've got another job to do in defence here. Halifax bring us out to the right-hand side. Their shape and numbers, if they look for them, it's a little bit stunted, but Nofaluma steps one way or the other, still going. The Halifax full-back eventually stops 6 metres away from the line. Adam O'Brien in. Douglas goes hunting a second, but he's stopped just short. This is the last. Kick stabbed through. It's bobbling around all over the place. Halifax is celebrating, the referee's pointing, and the Panthers have got another. It was all a bit of a mess, but it looks like Ben Crooks has got to the ball first.
The Oldham defender there was trying to kick the ball dead, and he just fluffed his kick, and Ben Crooks has come down and got downward pressure, and that's another try for Halifax. Oldham are under a lot of pressure now, 20 minutes gone, and if you watch here, he tries to kick the ball dead, and Ben Crooks just grounds the ball.
It's Ben Davies who couldn't get boot to it. You can see it again from this angle. Just doesn't connect, and Crooks gets onto it. Doesn't give up on that kick. Halifax have looked to that right edge every time with that attacking kick, and it's bore through. Yeah,
it has. They've obviously, Kyle's done a lot of his own work during the week, and he's seen maybe where Oldham a little bit weak on the kick, the high kick, the grubber kick, and it's come up trumps at least twice now, so I'm sure they'll continue with that tactic, but it's up to Sean Long now to try and remedy that. What are they doing wrong? Are they not getting off the line quick enough? And yeah, Oldham are under the pump here, Lewis.
Well, with the exception of that corner of Halifax fans over on the left, there is a sense of almost shell shock inside Boundary Park. Oldham, who started so brightly, all of a sudden find themselves 14 points down. It could be about to become 16, courtesy of the boot of Whitby.
What this takes now, Lewis, it takes your Josh Drinkwater, your Adam Milners, your Gil Dudsons, your old heads, just to say, right, this is not insurmountable. Oldham are more than capable
what a kick that is.
Of scoring multiple tries over a short period of time, so just don't panic, get back to the basics and play the game this left-hand side.
Whitby converts. And we'll see the try again. Crooks just doesn't give up on the ball and touches down. And even just the body language of a few of the Oldham players there, they're not quite sure what's happened in the last 10 minutes of this game. That kickoff goes deep and takes a horrible bounce. It goes into touch, so the bounce of the ball again. This time it favours Oldham and maybe gives them a route back into this game.
I think Oldham need to score on this set, Lewis. I don't want to put too much importance on this, but you know, like you said, the Halifax fans, the players, they're all buoyed, they're all up for this, and Oldham need to remedy this. And I think this set is incredibly important.
So they'll come to the right-hand side. This is Smith, short ball from him. Numbers out towards the left now for Oldham. Brierley moving into backfield as well. They'll just keep things tight on this play. It's dead centre, so plenty of options for Matty Wildey. He'll come right to drink water. Look to Smith, but just overrunning on that left-hand side. Smith puts book to ball, and it's a wasted opportunity for Oldham, and Oldham's away. They'll just keep things in hand and clear the lines of that break rather than try and go the distance, but Oldham are trying to track back. Halifax on the front foot again, and well, that just felt like panic from Oldham.
It was an awful kick. Why would you kick on that tackle? It was a nothing kick. Like I said before, they've got Josh Drinkwater, who's probably the best kicker in the old division, and they're just not giving it to him at the right time.
So Ashurst up over the 20-metre mark. This is Fairbank up over 8 metres away from the Oldham line. Whitby. Crooks, just goes to ground, and this time it's Halifax who fluff their lines. And Oldham will look to carry this ball away from their own goal line. And we said on that last set they needed to score. They just need to get through the tackles on this one, it feels like.
Yeah, I didn't think we were going to expect them to kick on the third tackle, Lewis, to be fair.
Sean Long is somewhere in this stadium going absolutely spare, I would have thought.
You'd have thought
some of the decision making.
Yeah, you'd have thought so, because the one thing Sean Long was an outstanding kicker of a rugby league ball, so he will not be happy with Oldham's kicking game in this first 24 minutes.
So Oldham up to halfway as they try to manufacture some sort of rebuild in this game after a disastrous 14-15 minute spell. That kick is right on top of Nopaluma's head, but he takes it in cleanly before giving it to Tibbs, who crabs across the line, and then he gets away. And there's a lot of that happening all of a sudden as well. Just half breaks, letting the pressure off.
Yeah, those tackles that stuck early doors from the Oldham defensive line, they now seem to be a little bit army, and Halifax are making the half breaks quite easily.
So Halifax making more use of their bench. Will Calcott is on. Brandon Douglas, one of the try scorers, is off. Oldham as well rotating. Jay Chapel-Howe onto the field. Jack Ormonroyd taking a rest. Halifax up to the 40-metre mark on the front foot again. Making decent progress on that left-hand side. Here's Adam Tangata. Now they'll come right with Whitby. He'll put another kick through for that edge to deal with, which they don't, but luckily enough on this occasion for Oldham, it just takes a few too many bounces, and there seems to be some sort of communication breakdown going on that Oldham left edge.
Yeah, that could have been another bounce that went Halifax favour, but the last bit it just took it dead, and Phoenix Lalatonga guy was very glad about that.
So Oldham needing to make something happen as the tackles fly in from Halifax. That was Jacob Fairbank, he didn't miss. Halifax have really upped their intensity in collision these last 5 or 10 minutes, Lewis. So now Oldham look to try and apply a little bit of depth in attack. This is Davies, who's had a torrid time in defence, trying to get forward, and Smith will manage to clear that bouncing ball up. So Oldham still on the attack with tackles to spare in this set. Wildy goes right but passes left. Davies again, really good defensive effort. It's Crooks who's done a good job with Graham on this near side. Drinkwater will kick and try and pretty much put this on the crossbar. That's Spill. Repeat set for Oldham and the penalty, in fact, for the accidental offside. It was Calcott. He didn't really have much else he could do there other than just kill the ball.
No, that's why it's not accidental offside. Once you deliberately pick it. But you're right, he had no choice there because Oldham had got the ball in hand and it was a fractured defensive line, so he certainly did the right thing there.
So Oldham, who panicked last time they were in this part of the field with a full set to try and get themselves on the board in this game. Halifax have been very good in these situations defensively. 4 repeat sets at the beginning of the game, seen off. And another one here to deal with. Wildy brings us to the right hand side to Drinkwater. That's out the back to Smith, short ball from him. Brierley's going absolutely nuts on that edge. The overlap was on. It would have been a walk-in if that ball had gone through. Milner tries to pick his way through, almost does. Legs just taken out from underneath him. This is the last, one more chance for Oldham, and it's Spill forward. Halifax survive again, and every time Halifax survive one of these sets on their line, it feels like their confidence goes up again, and Oldham just gets in their head a bit more. Yeah,
a couple of tackles before. Ryan Brierley was going mad. They hit the lead and they got a 3v2 on that edge. They just needed to hit the sweep runner, which was Brierley, and they had pretty much a walking in that corner. Oldham just seemed to be panicking and taking the wrong options at the moment, and that's because of the scoreline. You know, it's knockout rugby league. They've got to win. They've got to get back in this game. Just taking the wrong options.
We're nearly half an hour into this game. It is absolutely shot by. The intensity levels have been through the roof. But it is the Halifax Panthers who are well on top, certainly on the scoreboard. Whitby, possibly a 40-20 attempt, but just didn't find the angle, so Brierley is able to bring that in pretty safely and then bring us out to Ben O'Keefe on the right-hand side. This is a decent starting position for Oldham in this set. In fact, that's O'Keefe who takes that next hit up towards halfway. Wildy, just a short ball. Difficult situation this for Oldham to navigate, because the instinct is probably to go back to basics, but you feel like they need some points before half-time.
Yeah.
Oh, and they've lost the ball again, so Halifax just seem to be winning every 50-50, even the 40-60s going in favour of the away team at the moment.
Yeah, it's just poor handling, you know, and that's because of the intensity of the collisions, I think. You know, when you're going into a collision and you know you're going to get hit as hard as Halifax are hitting at the moment, Adam Milner just lost the ball on impact.
So Woodburn Hall up over the 40, makes some decent meters there. Plenty of tackles as O'Brien darts through. Pretty much a full set to work with here. Now they'll come right. Via Halafihi onto the field. He's up over the 10-metre mark. Whitby, Nofaluma steps inside, find a gap and goes straight through it and Faxer it again. David Nofaluma for the Halifax Panthers, their 4th try of the afternoon. And it is all one-way traffic.
I was just going to say, when we had the next stop, is that Oldham look fatigued, especially on this right edge. They don't seem to be covering as quick as they should. And David Nofaluma, who, you know, 10 years with West Panthers, 120 games, you know, he's an outstanding player at any level. But when you see a gap like that and a slow covering defence, he's going to exploit that. And you know, Oldham are in a hole at the moment, and they need some of their experienced players to get them out of it, because it's, you know, since after them first 7 or 8 minutes, Lewis, it's been absolutely all Halifax.
Straight down the camera as well. It was Josh Drinkwater that he just managed to wrong foot with the inside step. Kyle Eastman would have come into this game with every confidence that Halifax could do a job here, but even he probably can't quite believe that it's a 20-0 scoreline after 31 minutes.
No, you can just see with the Oldham fans opposite us, Lewis, everybody's shell-shocked. I don't think they didn't envisage this for 1 minute. Kyle, pre-match, he was confident. You know, he knew he'd got some good players. He knew that they'd worked hard for him all season. I heard him mention respect a couple of times. He's got a lot of respect for them, and clearly they've got a lot of respect for the shirt and the fans and the coach, because they're doing a job on Oldham.
And this is a big night for Oldham. Very forthwith with their Betfred Super League ambitions. One of the clubs that have applied to be in the mix for the expansion next season. They've had a fantastic year, of course, ever coming up from Betfred League One, and they'll have felt that this was an opportunity as Whitby brushes over 2 more points. They would have felt that this was an opportunity to really showcase themselves in a big game, and well, in the last 20 minutes for sure, they just haven't shown up.
No, they haven't. No, it's a shame at the moment, you know, for the Oldham fans, because they've got some really big players, Oldham, and the Halifax team are just running harder, running faster, and they look to have more energy. Everything about the Halifax team at this moment in time compared to Oldham seems to be harder, higher, faster, stronger, and the scoreline is absolutely reflecting all that dominance.
So Halifax Panthers 22, Oldham 0. Not a scoreline that any of us saw coming in the first 8-9 minutes of this game. It was all Oldham in the opening exchanges. It's been all Halifax since. And this is why the Betfred Championship is such a fascinating division, because every week you're just not sure which way games are going to swing. That's a really clever quick kick through, and it dribbles into touch with a Lola Tonga guy, can get to it, and Halifax have another opportunity to keep Oldham exactly where they want them.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Lewis. That's where Halifax want Oldham, at 22-0 in the 34th minute. Play the ball 10 metres from their own line. That is absolutely what Kyle Eastman would have wanted from your set after you scored a try.
Well, we've seen what George Whitby is all about this season, but he's having a fabulous game so far for Halifax. Oldham from their own 20. It's difficult to see where it comes from at this stage, just on the balance of the last 10-15 minutes, but they'll be desperate for some points before half-time, just to get themselves back into this game, get themselves a foothold. Lola Tonga guy will play the ball to Wildey. And now Oldham will look to apply some width. Here's Brierley, and he puts Ethan Ryan into some space on that right, and then he cuts back on the inside. First time we've seen Brierley in any kind of flight, and then he gets the offload away. Much, much better from Oldham, and they're within striking distance again. Still some tackles in their hand as well. From nothing, that old Salford combination of Brierley and Ethan Ryan has got Oldham on the front foot, kick through. Will it bounce through? It won't. Graham will try and get himself out of jail. He won't be able to. It will be a goal line dropout, and in the blink of an eye, Oldham have put themselves back into striking distance.
That's what Ryan Brierley can do, and Ethan Ryan obviously got pace, but that's what Ryan Brierley wanted a few sets before, where he came on that sweep that created that overlap, and they made 60-70 metres, a beautiful ball out to the wing, and good scrambling defence by Halifax in the end.
So goal line dropout.
10 seconds.
For Halifax.
Sorry, I didn't hear you say the first one.
And they'll put it pretty much on the halfway line for Oldham to try and bring back. Kick chase is good again.
Hold. Goal.
From Halifax. Update from the other eliminator tonight. The Bradford Bulls lead Featherstone 12-2, and there's an error in the tackle there, so Halifax have the ball back again.
Just the force of the collision as he hit the ground, just squalls that ball out. And we've mentioned it over the last, well, more than just the last few minutes. The collisions that Halifax are doing on the ball carriers, they're just squirming the ball out. It happened with Adam Milner a couple of sets ago, and it's happened again. They're just running harder and faster and tackling much harder than the Oldham guys are running with in possession.
So Halifax with the scrum, and a simple equation for them really. For the remaining 3 or so minutes in this first half, they'll just work their way through this set, you would think. They would have bitten your hand off for a 22-0 lead at half-time. Could they sniff out a few more points before the break? Tom Inman onto the field now. He'll play the ball just short of the 40. That ball was behind Whitby, but he's done well to bring that in.
Hold this line, Owen.
Just keeping it between the tram lines for the time being, Halifax. Will Calcott charges in, he's up towards the 20.
5 minutes, hold, goal 4.
Then Halifax bring us out to the left-hand side, but just a bit too much on that pass. And Owen McCarron unable to bring it in cleanly, so Oldham survive on that occasion, but once again are looking up with pretty much the full length of the field in front of them.
Yeah, just forced pass, and I don't think Halifax will be too bothered turning it over on those turns, Lewis, because their defence, their scrambling defence has also been outstanding. So I think they'll back themselves. I don't want to cuss them, but I think they'll back themselves for seeing out this set as well.
So Davies up over the 20. Wildy, who's played of a full stint in this game so far, brings us left to Matty Ashurst, who's in this situation with, or in these playoffs with Wakefield last season, of course. His team have got a lot of work to do if he's going to experience the same outcome. They are up over halfway, that's the 4th. So just a couple of tackles left in this set to try and do something with. Now they'll look to apply some width and some depth, and Brierley up to the line, finds Davies, his ball over the top is over the top of everyone and into the stands, and just when it looked like Oldham had picked the lock, they're unable to execute on this near side. But again, it's Brierley inserting himself into the play that's just opening things up a little bit.
Every time Brierley comes into the line, he causes havoc, he causes an overlap, and again, Oldham are making breaks, they're breaking them up, they just can't find that final pass.
Yeah, time's off.
But just watch how he comes on there. But I think Davis, if you watch when Davis offloads his ball into touch, David Nofaluma's absolutely hit him as hard as he can with his shoulder, and it's certainly not the stuffing out of Ben Davis there. So there's a little bit of a stoppage. 1 or 2 players came together, they felt it was late. It wasn't, it was just as he's offloaded the ball, so absolutely no issues with that. But 1 or 2 of the players felt that there was, like they do.
Brierley just having a word. Briefly teammates at Salford, of course, a couple of years ago, Ryan Brierley and David Nofaluma. And Ben Davies is back on his feet. Looks like he's got a bit of air back in his lungs, so okay to carry on.
I was just, as he's offloaded the ball, his ribs are there, he's relaxed after the ball's gone, and it was just a very hard hit. And they could have done with scoring there, Oldham. That would have really give Sean Long and the team and the supporters in particular something to hold on to in this, going into the second half.
Yeah, just would have been a bit of wind in the sails, wouldn't it?
I think so, yeah. It's an easier team talk if you score just before half time.
So around 30 seconds left in the half. The clock inside the stadium is up to 40. We're not hooked up to the referee's watch, but there won't be long left. We've not had too many stoppages in this game, bar that Ben Davies knock there and the try scored by Halifax.
2, move, hold,
But you would think that the Panthers can just see this set out and get themselves into the sheds in excellent shape. Two very different team talks coming up, you would feel. Carl Easton will be delighted. Sean Long, well, he might be preparing the riot act for his team at the break. This is the last. They'll come out to Whitby, who's been brilliant with the boot all evening, and again with the touch finder.
I made a bold statement during that first half, Lewis, when I said that Josh Drinkwater was the best kicker in Championship. I think he's been absolutely done by George Whitby this first half. Every kick's found its point, whether it's a little grubber kick through, whether it's a kick across, whether it's one-to touch, whether it's getting away from their own defensive line. He's been absolutely outstanding with the boot in this first half.
Well, I think we can all be fairly certain that George Whitby has got a long career in front of him. The way that he's broken out this year, one of the real bright young things of our game. And he is putting a clinic on tonight. It'll be interesting to see what the message is from Sean Long at half-time, because despite the fact that they're 22-0 down, you don't feel like it's game over yet. There have been chances for Oldham as they get a repeat set here. Maybe one more will come in this first half. You just feel if they can get their execution right early in the second period, there is a route back into this game.
They need Ryan Brierley to get his hands on the ball more. Every time he's come into the line, he's looked dangerous because he's a class act and has been over several clubs.
There is the hooter, one more play for Oldham to try and make something happen. They'll come out to Smith, who'll put a big ball over the top. Not much Ethan Ryan can do with that. He's bundled into touch, and that will be that. On a blistering 40 minutes of rugby league in the Betfred Championship playoffs. It was all Oldham for 8 minutes, the 32 that followed. It was all the Halifax Panthers, and they will take a 22-0 lead into the break here at Boundary Park. And, well, we said anything could happen in this game at the beginning, Ian. I don't think too many people would have thought that was about to happen.
We certainly wouldn't have thought that after 7 or 8 minutes before Halifax scored the first try, because it was all Oldham, and they looked strong, they looked dominant, they got the field position, and then Halifax just gradually got into the game, just better kicking games, got a repeat set, got a set restart, got a tackle. Oldham lost a little bit of discipline, a little bit of the way, and to be fair, fully deserving of the 22-0 lead.
So at the break, it is Halifax who lead 22-0. Courtesy of 4 tries, 3 of them converted by George Whitby, who, as we've mentioned, is having an inspired night with the boot for the away side. We'll remind ourselves as how that half unfolded, and this game, after a period where Oldham had been well on top, a kick that no one deals with, and Charlie Graham just does well to get to that ball before it gets to the line.
He does, yeah, he wanted a little bit more. He gambled that maybe it does go over him, and he just got it down before the touching goal line, and the kick from George Whitby, nobody really knew what was going to happen there, who was going up for the ball. It was a really well worked kick and try.
And this the second. Douglas with the first carry that gets his team on the front foot, and then comes back for more. Comes the other side of the ruck on this occasion and just forces his way over. Does well, actually. That takes a lot of finishing from that range. There's a lot of bodies around him. Back-to-back tries.
Yeah, he just ran harder and faster.
And that felt like a real turning point in the game, actually, because even that first Halifax try you felt was against the head, but at this point, well on top, and Crooks just not giving up on that ball, not dealt with by this near side edge, and 4 more points for Halifax.
Yeah, David Nofaluma there just spotted a gap, spotted a lazy defence. Ryan Brierley didn't cover the gap. Josh Drinkwater went out and he overread the play. Ryan Brierley didn't come back, and Matty Ashers didn't cover enough. And he's too good and too quick and too fast a player to not spot gaps like that. He's done it all his career, and again, fully deserved the lead in the end.
So Friday night lights here in Oldham as we get the Betfred Championship playoffs underway. And at the break in the Eliminator, it is the Halifax Panthers who lead 22 points to 0 against Oldham. Stay with us. Second half on the way very, very shortly.
Martin, what's today been all about?
Today is about publicising and drawing attention to what's happening at the stadium behind me on the 25th of October. The first Ashes test. The Ashes are back in Britain for the first time in a long time, and yeah, it's a great opportunity for Sean Wayne and the English team to right some wrongs and to get one over on the Aussies.
And how big this Ashes series be for Rugby League?
I think it's massive. It's a great opportunity to get Rugby League back on the back pages, back in the psyche of the British sporting public. And it's a chance for some of the current team to write their legacy and create memories for themselves and the British public.
Because this Australian side are the best in the world, aren't they?
Yes, Sean Wayne and the English team, they've won Test series against Tonga, against Samoa, both teams laden with NRL players, but we know it's the big one to play against Australia at Wembley. Nothing gets bigger than that for a rugby league player.
Of course, you've played the Australians here as well. You know what it's all about, don't you?
Yeah, I've played against the Australians here. I've won against the Australians. I've created my legacy at this stadium, but it's a chance for another generation to write their legacy and to put themselves in the hearts of the British sporting public. We've got the likes of Julian December, Jack Wellesby, and many others here. Have got an opportunity here to create a legacy.
George, I bet you never thought you'd kick a ball here at Tower Bridge.
No, I didn't. It's brilliant actually. I can't believe how busy it is. I know London's known for being busy, but so many people down here, a couple of schools down here, so trying to get amongst it, trying to grow the game, and the 100 days from the Ashes.
That's what it's all about, isn't it? Look, we love rugby league, but we're bringing the game to London, aren't we?
Yeah, that's what I think we're striving to do. We want to tap into new areas, get new generations involved, and I think that's what we're trying to do today. We're down in London. We've done a couple of tours so far. I'm enjoying it. I feel like a little bit of a tourist. But no, it's been good so far, and that's what we're trying to do.
And it's a long time since we've had a series against the Aussies, isn't it?
It's brilliant. I was a kid last time it happened. Showing my age a little bit there. But yeah, I'm 39. And it's never been done for a long, long time, for 20 odd years. So some of those plays we're really looking forward to. We know it don't come around often. Hopefully we can replicate it a little bit more. But we're playing against the best nation in the world, and they have been for a long, long time.
And how proud are you going to be walking out that first test at Wembley as well?
It'll be brilliant. It'll be a proud day for myself, my family, and for the group of players. Like I say, we know it's not been common, so whoever's in that shirt have got to make the most of it. I always say playing for England is the pinnacle, but what you just named there, playing against Australia at Wembley, I think that's the pinnacle. That's the top of the top, and if that doesn't get you up for it, then we're in the wrong job.
So welcome back to Boundary Park, Betfred Championship Eliminator action for you on the Sportsman tonight, and a big night under the lights for Oldham. Not going to plan so far. Halifax spoiling the party, 22 points to 0 at the break. Carl Eastman's side, well, it's felt like they've scored every time they've gone down to that Oldham end, and in contrast, Oldham just unable to finish off the opportunities they've had. This is the first try of the evening, Ian Smith, and rugby league balls do a strange thing sometimes. Graham gambled and came up trumps.
Absolutely, and what George Whitby's doing is he's got it on a string at the moment. All these kicks are going in the right vicinity where players are challenging, not challenging, don't know where it's going to bounce, and at this moment in time Halifax have had the look of the bounce, but they've deserved it because they've got themselves into the right part of the pitch and they've just run harder and faster, like you see here. Adam O'Brien has done this. He did this for Huddersfield for many years, just these little drop-off plays back inside, you know, and he's looking there again. He's just a little drop-off play, and he just, you know, just forces his way over, and just the power, and he wanted it more, and unfortunately Josh Drinkwater just weren't strong enough against Douglas on the day.
And then this one, a kick through again, just a bit of miscommunication, perhaps a bit of indecision from that Oldham edge, and Crooks on this occasion that took the gamble and came up with 4 points for his side.
I don't know whether that was a planned play or it was just a little, go on, I'll just try it, even if we get a repeat set, and it just worked for him.
And Nofaluma, interesting, when you watch the line that Nofaluma runs, he is looking out to the right hand side. For all the world it looks as if he's going to keep that ball moving, and then just steps back in, catches a couple of players out and goes over to score.
Yeah, and just Drinkwater overread the play. He was going on the slide because, like you said, it looked like Nofaluma was always going on the outside. He's always going to try to create a 3-on-2 on the edge, and he just spotted a lazy covering Matty Ashers trying to get across, and he just scythed through what looked like a large gap in the end.
So Oldham back out to a slightly more subdued reaction than we saw in the first half. The home team have got it all to do if they are to keep their season going here at Boundary Park. Just an update from the other Championship Eliminator taking place tonight. Bradford Bulls, about 50 minutes played at Odsall. They lead Featherstone 12 points to 2. Toulouse and York, of course, waiting for the two victors, as Halifax come out to a roar from the away fans over on that far side. That we're very pleased with what they've seen so far this evening. In the Betfred Super League, Lee Leopards lead Huddersfield Giants 8-4 at half-time. Salford Red Devils 12, Wakefield 18, St Helens 16, Castleford 10, and the Wigan Warriors 12, Leeds Rhinos 0. The scores on the doors at half-time, but ready to go for 40 more minutes here at Boundary Park. A place in the Betfred Championship semi-finals on the line. It is the Halifax Panthers who have their one foot, at least, in the Final Four. We will need a big half for that to change from Oldham.
It'll be the team talks will have been interesting at half time. Lewis, Kyle Eastman, what will he have been saying? Will he have been saying keep the foot on the pedal and keep pushing and keep trying to be aggressive, or complete your sets and make sure Oldham have to go 80-90 metres to score? And what will Sean Long be up to? Sean Long has to get Ryan Brierley more in play. Adam Milner was at number 1, but as soon as Ryan Brierley started getting more involved, Oldham looked the better team on the better for Oldham on the attack.
So Whitby gets us back underway, kicks deep to the right hand side to where those Halifax fans are housed. Cleanly taken by Lola Tonga Guy on that occasion. Gil Dudson back onto the field, plays the ball. Davies up over the 20. And Oldham will want to build themselves back into the game here, but there is scoreboard pressure, there is clock pressure, because they will need to start getting points on the board quickly if they are to get something going in this game and stage what would be a remarkable comeback given the circumstances. So Oldham with ball in hand. Tom Whitehead up towards the 40. The kick will come from Smith, high into the air. Nofaluma's safe as Houses underneath it, met by Matty Wilding.
Move back to me, Gil. You've got to be very careful.
It was a decent first set from Oldham. You know, I know they'll want to score on every set, but you've still got to be patient. They've still got to earn the right to get field position. So it was a decent set from Oldham, that one.
Well, what this game hasn't had much of is an arm wrestle. We've been at one end of the field and then the other. We've not seen too many of the respective packs going toe for toe and trying to march themselves up the field slowly. It's been very much one end to the other stuff here at Boundary Park.
It's been really good quality of play, of aggression, of pass. You know, there's and kicks. Been some really outstanding rugby league on offer tonight.
Well, Whitby puts that ball into space, and Lola Tonga Guy does really well underneath it to bring it in cleanly. But Oldham again starting this set deep left. That is where every kick has been targeted, more or less, from Halifax. Here's Ethan Ryan off his wing. We got a glimpse of what he can do in that first half, just didn't quite have the support runners around him to finish things off. But we'll have a big role to play if Oldham are to get themselves back into this game, as Dudson carries up towards halfway, takes 3 Halifax defenders to stop him. Matty Wilding brings us out to the right hand side.
5, moving square. Hold.
Hand in the air from the referee, so the kick will come from Drinkwater. Nofaluma takes that on the full and hit the accelerator. Wilding does well to stop him in full flight.
Wasn't a great kick, it wasn't deep enough, and Nofaluma just a really nice easy catch. And second tackle, you know, they're not coming away from their own line. Oldham need to build pressure and make Halifax do something.
We're only 3 minutes into the second half, but so far this will suit Halifax down to a T, just keeping Oldham at arm's length. That's all they need to do for the remainder of this game. Decent progress made in the last couple of tackles though, so look towards the right hand side again. That feels like that's where the kick will come on the last, and that is exactly where Whitby stabs it through, and well, he's just got it absolutely perfect again, Whitby.
This is a masterclass on attacking, kicking. Just a nice little grubber kick. You know, it's a short pitch, this, because obviously it's predominantly, should I say, a football pitch. So it's only 88 metres long. The in goals are a little bit shorter, but it's just a nice little weighted grubber kick into the in goal.
So the dropout will be taken just inside Halifax territory, but straight into positive equity with the carry up towards the 40-metre mark.
Hold.
And they'll come short side left. Here's Tangata, bumps off a couple of defenders, stopped just short of the 20. O'Brien drifts into acting half. He'll bring us out to the right hand side.
Surrender.
Halafihi just stumbles. He'll play the ball 15 metres away from the line. Halifax are in striking distance again, and you would feel that it might be one try too many if they were to get on the board here. Big couple of tackles in the context of this game on the way.
5.
Oldham deal with that one. This is the last. Where is Whitby? In fact, he's not going to be involved. It's not Faluma who stabs it through. It's still in play. Have Halifax scored again? The referee's not sure. The linesman's not sure. They're going to have a chat here. It's Charlie Graham who thinks he's dotted down. But we are going to come back for a 20-metre tap.
Yeah, the touch was straight away backed off. So he's told the referee that Charlie Graham stopped the ball on, but again a little grubber kick, and the bounce of the ball didn't quite go Halifax's way that time.
So here's Ethan Ryan up over his own 40-metre mark. Wildly in again at dummy half. He brings us out left. Drinkwater, Brierley into the line and immediately getting his team on the front foot again. Oldham could be away on that left-hand side. Halifax's defence does well. Now they look for the sideline. Don't find it on this occasion. So Oldham have the full width of the field to use. Drinkwater, they will look for that width. Oh, and Whitehead could be through. Oh, just cut down Tom Whitehead before he could apply the finish, but Oldham metres away. That ball goes to ground. Still tackles in hand. Davies almost through. And they'll just settle this 8 metres away. So, last tackle. Potentially a big moment in this game if Oldham can get themselves on the board. They'll use the width. Brierley into the line. He'll look to go himself, but he's just stopped short.
Some outstanding play, attacking play from Oldham there, going from one flank to the other. But the one thing, the Halifax defenders, they were defending as if their life depended on it, making sure that the half breaks didn't become full breaks. And another great scrambling defence from Halifax.
So Oldham have Halifax pinned inside their own territory for the time being. They've maybe just let the pressure out of the taps a little bit too easily in these situations throughout this game. They'll want to restrict the metres here. They have done so far in this set. If they can force Halifax to kick from inside their own half, they'll perhaps feel Oldham like they're starting to just swing the pendulum the other way. And it looks as if that is where they'll kick from. Whitby does kick from inside his own half. We've not seen too much of that this afternoon. Lola Tonga guy underneath it, under all sorts of pressure. Deals with that one well.
Brilliant kick from Whitby, very high, but wow, that was well taken. With Ben Crooks coming flying in, and he took it under the lights, and I think he come away limping, so I think he might have caught a little bit of injury.
Tangatar as well, from a Halifax perspective, just gingerly making his way back into the defensive line after being down in backfield. So maybe just a few players starting to feel the effects of what has been a brutal game of rugby league here on the Sportsman. Ted Chapelhow into the action. He'll play the ball on the 40. Drinkwater will put it high into the air. Graham deals with it, but he's got a welcoming committee of 3 Oldham defenders to deal with, and he's stopped 12 metres away from his own try line. Crooks comes off his wing to do a bit of the heavy lifting in the middle. Here's Nofaluma. Oldham maybe just restricting metres in yardage where they weren't in the first half, but at some point they will have to turn territory into points. So it's a short side play from Halifax, and he could be away. Tibbs. He's got Woodburn Hall inside him, and he finds him. And having been on the ropes, Halifax score again. They go one end of the pitch to the other, and just as Oldham are building themselves back into this game, Halifax strike again.
What a try. How to use a short side, how to exploit a 3v2 on this side, and Woodburn Hall there, he was just there to get the last pass, and it's a walk-in, but just superb. They looked at that short side, got his arm through, passed it, and Tibbs waited and delivered a perfect pass to the supporting player who just went under, and it's going to be 28-0, and Oldham have got a huge mountain to climb.
The counter-punching from Halifax throughout this game, every time it looks like they've been on the ropes, they've come up with something, and I mean that was a brilliant bit of play from deep. Woodburn Hall doing what all good halfbacks do, providing the support line, but they've just come up with something every time they've needed to.
But he finished it, but he also started it because he just spotted that Oldham were a little bit light on this right edge here, and he exploited it to its perfect end, and it's I'm sure he won't miss this one. I don't want to put a curse on him because he's kicked outstanding today, but I think George Whitby will probably take Halifax out too. Dare we say an unassailable lead, or are we still having confidence in Oldham's speed and quality and experience to get back in this game?
So Whitby does brush it over. We are either witnessing Halifax canter into the semi-finals, or we are about to witness a comeback for the ages. And I have to say, Ian, from our vantage point at the moment, it is very difficult to see where that's going to come from.
Yeah, the body language is also an important thing. You know, Halifax, they're well up for it, they're winning, they're enthusiastic, they're confident, they're playing well. And Oldham's, you can just see the shoulders have just dropped. And it's going to take all their experience and all the skill, and they're highly experienced players to get back into this.
Move! Hold!
So a simple equation for Halifax has got even simpler.
3, open square!
Feels like Oldham needs snookers to get back into this game. They need errors, they need penalties, they need all the help they can get as Whitby looks for a 40-20. I don't think the angle's quite there. In fact, that ball just dies, and Brierley under pressure though. He does well actually, the Oldham fullback, to pick that up and stay error free. Lola Tonga guy now tries to get on his bike and get away from his own try line, but Halifax are absolutely buzzing here. The energy levels are through the roof, but here's Ethan Ryan in some broken play. He's looked sharp in the opportunities that he has had this evening, albeit limited as they have been. He'll get a quick play the ball as well, so Chapelhout to Chapelhout. The twins in tangent there. And Chapelhout again up towards the 40. There's a Halifax player down in back play. I'm just trying to see who it is. But the Panthers are down to 12 temporarily, but that attack breaks down again. Drinkwater will just put it up in the air, and it's a pretty nothing kick in the end. David Nofaluma never under any kind of pressure.
The referee's just stopped play. I think it's James.
I think it is James Woodburn Hall, fresh from scoring, who is getting some treatment. And he looks in some strife down there. You can see the injury again. Just maybe gets a clip off the boot of Ethan Ryan. Completely accidental, of course, but
you'd be surprised if he didn't go for an HIA here,
well,
so they'll get a 15-minute interchange. I think, like you say, I think he just caught his heel as he's fallen down. Unless he's got his head on the wrong side.
I think he just gets one, maybe just in the eye even from Ethan Ryan.
But it was a poor end to the set from Drinkwater again. The kick was a nothing kick. It landed right in Nofaluma's hands. There was no challenge from the Oldham players, and when they've had ball in hand, Oldham, they've looked dangerous, they've looked quick, but that last play, the last kick, has been the main difference in two teams. Halifax last kicks have been superb, where Oldham's have been wanting this evening.
It just seems so out of character, doesn't it, for this Oldham team, coached by Sean Long, who you've mentioned was a wonderful kicker of the football, but when you look at who they've got in the spine as well, the fact that they've looked so out of sorts on those last tackle options, it's just very difficult to put your finger on how that's happened from an Oldham perspective tonight.
On that last one, Lewis, it didn't even look like he was supposed to get the ball, and then it was just a nothing of a kick, and you're just gifting Halifax. Halifax don't need to score. All they need to do is complete and have Oldham going 80 or 90 metres. So it's Oldham who need to force something, not Halifax.
And I have to say, regular viewers of the Sportsman will remember back in the early stages of the season, our Betfred Challenge Cup coverage, as Halifax do make a rare error that's going to allow Oldham to start this set on their own 40-metre mark. Just going back to that Challenge Cup game against Catalans, they kept the Super League side to 0 until about 65 minutes, 63 minutes maybe into that game. Their defensive work and shape and organisation very much on display then, and I've been very impressed with them in that element of the game again tonight.
You've used two words there which are very appropriate: shaped and organised. Every defender seems to know, where what their job is. And the defensive structures, if Kyle Eastman does defensive well, then he's done great. Whoever the Halifax defensive coach has done a great job tonight, because they're just going up in a line. Everybody knows what they're doing. They're making 2 and 3 into contact. They're hurting Oldham, and it's been a masterclass on attack and defence.
So Oldham on the front foot on this left-hand side, but with an ever-growing mountain to climb as Drinkwater just drops a short ball off to Tom Whitehead. They'll keep the ball alive and look to try and play down this left-hand side, and maybe it is just opening up for Davies, stopped 3 or 4 metres short. This is where Halifax have been so good in defence this evening. Out they'll come to the right-hand side, Whitehead out the back to no one. Brierley has to go back and clean up, but he's then clattered by Jacob Fairbank.
Wait, Brandon.
So Smith puts it up into the air, and again, no real competition for that ball. Nothalum are able to take it in relatively cleanly.
Yeah, it was a nothing kick again, weren't it? He's been good at that all his career, and it's just easy fodder for him, where they just lofting it up and he's just taking it without any pressure, and just inviting Halifax to just get possession again without under any pressure.
So Fax had the ball on halfway. And it looks like they are enjoying themselves, and those travelling Halifax fans in the left-hand corner of the main stand, the Joe Royal stand here at Boundary Park, are definitely enjoying themselves. Tall kick again. Lola Tongagai has dealt with those pretty well. It's been the low ones in behind, and we've got a bit of a skirmish on in back play. Players flying in the meantime. Oldham continue to move the ball. The judge has done his job there of just splitting things up, so we'll carry on.
Yeah, I followed the ball. I don't know what happened. I assume it was a late hit on the kicker that they took a little bit of exception to, and maybe the replays might prove that.
Well, I think there's a lot of frustration from an Oldham perspective, and probably a lot of adrenaline from a Halifax perspective. Milner up towards the 40. This is the last, so Oldham will be kicking from pretty far out. Up it goes into the air again. Just an easy take for Charlie Graham to drift underneath and bring in.
It's almost copy and paste of these last few sets, isn't it? Oldham have made decent yardage, got to the last kick, and then just floated one either to the fullback or both wingers, and they're not under any pressure whatsoever.
Well, I sound like a broken record, Ian, but it is that fifth tackle where we have really seen the difference between the two teams. A masterclass from George Whitby, and Oldham just unable to get things going.
The kicking game in rugby league is so important, and it has been the difference in both teams tonight. Halifax with Whitby have been absolutely superb with the kick, and Oldham with Morgan Smith and Drinkwater have been second best by quite a country mile.
So Brierley takes that kicking cleanly and then gets on his bike. He's got Lola Tongaga on his shoulder. Oldham having to roll the dice now. 22 minutes left for them to stage what would be the unlikeliest of comebacks, but they move the ball from one edge of the field to the other. Ryan brought down, gets 6 again for his troubles as well, looking for that quick play and found it. Ted Chappell up over halfway. Bradford cruising at Odsall, 24 points to 2 up against Featherstone Rovers in the other eliminator, so barring a couple of miracles, it is looking like Oldham and Bradford, Halifax and Bradford, that will be marching on to the semis next week. Now we come to the left-hand side. Oldham could be in here again. That right edge defence for the Halifax Panthers in perfect unison to keep them out. Kick through from Drinkwater. Milner goes through, picks it up, goes to the ground, and it will be a goal line dropout. And probably the most dangerous fist tackle option we've seen.
Yeah. But again, on that far edge, a good scrambling defence. Oldham have had some half breaks, some half chances, but Halifax have scrambling defence, and it was a good grubber kick. But at 28-0, you need more than goal line dropouts at this stage. What is it? 20 minutes left. Got to get some points on the board, and very quick.
Well, the reality is they're probably going to score twice in the next 5 or 6 minutes, haven't they, Oldham? And as we've gone 60 minutes without them managing to do so, it feels unlikely, and that's a really good dropout all the way back to the Oldham 40. Chappell will just put the ball under his arm and ramp in.
Back to me, wait, George.
Wildy to Ormonroyd.
I think he got a bit of a stinger there, Jacob Furbank. They run at each other really hard, and he's come away holding his shoulder a little bit.
So Oldham finding some space on this left-hand side. Brierley tips onto Davies. Davies just keeps hold of the ball, spins away almost through. But as we've seen so many times this evening, shut down. Wildy. Milner, they look to apply some width. In fact, just as I say that, Milner checks back inside and brings it back the other way. I think he's going to have to give himself up here. Adam Milner eventually brought down 9 metres away from the Halifax line. All the shape and numbers are on the right-hand side. That's the way they come. This is Smith. Little show and go out to Brierley. Brierley tip on over the top to Ryan. Ryan steps inside, and Oldham are on the board, courtesy of Ethan Ryan, but it was that tip-on pass from Ryan Brierley that opened things up. And a glimmer of hope for the home team.
Oh, great try. You know, they went from left to right, they'd split, they made the Halifax defence really work hard laterally, and a really good tip pass from Ryan Brierley. And Ethan Ryan, he's scored many tries in his career, and he came back against the defenders overshot the cover, if you like, and he's just gone back in. He needs to take his time, get this over. You know, Oldham need every time they score a try, they've got to.
Well, it is coming around, but not enough, so it will stay just the 4 points for Oldham. I'll just quickly run you through some scores elsewhere. Lee Leopards 14, Huddersfield 10, Salford Red Devils 12, Wakefield Trinity 18, St Helens 22, Castleford Tigers 10, and the Wigan Warriors 18, Leeds Rhinos 0 in the Betfred Super League. And as we just mentioned, in the other Betfred Championship eliminator tonight, Bradford cantering towards the semi-finals, as are the Halifax Panthers here at Boundary Park. Oldham on the ball, but a long way to go in.
Sorry, Lewis, they're certainly not in any rush to kick off. I know the referee's called time off, but they just need to get a little bit of oxygen back in those lungs, take a breather, and get back to these hits now.
Well, it's that old cliche, isn't it? But we're very much into game management territory from a Halifax perspective. They know that that's all they have to do to book their place in the semi-finals, is just keep the composure, keep the cool, and see this game out. Very much feels like Oldham can't get back into this game without Halifax letting them back in.
Yeah, Oldham have to score a try on average every 3 minutes. And if you go set for set, that's not going to happen. So, you know, Halifax don't need to do anything. Just go up as a unit, tackle, and just force Oldham to do like they're doing these offloads that hopefully will stick as far as Oldham are concerned. But it's desperation stakes.
Well, it's a few times tonight that Oldham have gone one way, just as Smith nearly pokes his nose through the line. They've gone one way, and Ryan Brierley has gone spare at his teammates. He's one of the older players who can hold his head up tonight, but it just looks like there's a lack of communication, cohesion. Lola Tonga guy has to go back now and pick the ball up. Does really well, actually, the youngster. Still going, eventually. No, he's not wrapped up. Manages to get himself through. A long ball out to O'Keefe, who has no option but to try and kick over the top. And in the end, Ben Tibbs does really well to just diffuse the situation. He still hasn't officially been tackled. Now he is forced over the sideline. Well, that's an interesting one, because Tibbs didn't want to get back up. Ethan Ryan and Ben O'Keefe made sure they didn't touch him, and he has to get up and get on with the game, and then forced into touch.
I'm surprised that doesn't happen more often. When a defender surrenders, either close to the try line or close to the touchline, you always see players come and place their hands on them to complete the tackle. Because if he doesn't get up there, another few seconds, the referee will do a voluntary tackle. You can't just lie there. So really, really well done there from a couple of smart Oldham players who knew the rules.
So Oldham finally, just as I say that, it goes to ground and has gone forward, says the referee. So I was about to say Oldham finally finding their attacking rhythm, but as we've seen all too many times tonight from the perspective of the home side, it all just peters out.
Yeah, it was Ryan Brierley didn't really run the right line there like he did when he was setting up Ethan Ryan for the other try, and it just petered out into a disappointing knock-on. That's what Halifax want. 15-16 minutes left. They won't be in any rush they'll take the shot clock all the way down to virtually zero before the ball gets back into play, and they'll just, in their eyes, hopefully see the game out.
I think it is worth mentioning at this point, Ian, and you live in the area, the journey that Oldham are on. First season back in the Championship after a spell in Betfred League One. Obviously league champions last year, promoted. Huge amount of work going on behind the scenes. And there'll be a penalty there for a tip tackle, so that won't help the situation tonight, but it will feel like a disaster tonight because of the manner of the defeat. But maybe just in a few days' time, when the dust settles, they'll look back and go, well, we're still doing a lot of good things, we're still on track, they're still pushing Oldham Rugby League to where they want it, back to where they feel it belongs.
Yeah, very much so. I think sometimes just be careful what you wish for. You want to get in the playoffs, which they did, and then you over-expect, and I just think that Oldham have had a great season this year. Yeah, that this result isn't what they wanted, but this is a journey. This is not a sprint, it's a marathon for Oldham to eventually get in Super League with the right structure, the right fan base, the right money, the right players, and it's a long-term project. And as it happened with Super League going to 14 clubs next year, their aspiration maybe came a season or two too early anyway. So I think Mike Ford and Bill Quinn will be still working hard to show that this is not a disaster.
So Halifax sniffing more points. Douglas Stotch just a couple of metres away from the line. Thought maybe he was in for his second of the night there. They'll come to the short side. Nofaluma steps back in, still going. David Nofaluma still going. Offload away. Wildey's on the wing for some reason defending out there. It was Graham who's managed to take it in. Kick stabbed through, and in the end I think it's Smith who's managed to just shut things down. And it will be a repeat set, and those Halifax fans who have been in fine voice all evening rise again, and so they should. Their team have been absolutely superb this evening.
Beautifully weighted kick again, Lewis, and that has been. I know we've said it a lot, but a little different type of a contested goal line dropout, which didn't work for Oldham, but they had to do something. They couldn't just punt it 50 metres downfield.
So we come to the left.
Yeah, I saw that. Hold!
Trying to work out all the different permutations on the spot, but at the moment it looks like it will be Halifax that travel to the league leaders York next weekend. A trip to the south of France for Bradford as Whitby comes out to the right hand side. Nofaluma steps in, still going Nofaluma. Ball over the top. Graham should score, does score. Halifax have more points on the board. The final nail in the coffin, you would think, for Oldham. Huge celebrations over on that far side. The Panthers break 30 points.
Fully deserved.
There's no doubt about it now.
Fully deserved that try in the corner. They wanted it more, again, off the back of a grubber kick to get a repeat set. Oldham tried a little different type of a goal line dropout to regain possession, and Nofaluma, he's been out so strong. He's been great on defence, and the Oldham just tired bodies. I think in their hearts, I think they know that this game has gone, and Nofaluma does what he's done for many years throughout his career: brush defenders off who aren't committed and put Graham over for another nice try in the corner.
Well, David Nofaluma's had an outstanding game tonight, as so many of the Halifax team have. He had a really difficult time, came over to Salford a couple of seasons ago, and he made a couple of appearances. Went over and played in France in the Super 13 competition over there. I was here for his debut a few months ago when Halifax came to Oldham, and he looked a little bit off the pace, a little bit unsure, playing obviously with new players and new systems tonight. He has proved why he was such a handful in the NRL, and well, they may be doing it from deep in the league table. You cannot discount this Halifax team in any game in this playoff series now.
Oh no, I think they'll be excited about the trip to York next week. I think they'll be really looking forward to it, especially off the back of this. What have they done well? They've run hard, they've tackled hard, the scrambling defence has been outstanding, but the last kick options have just mesmerised Oldham, who've had no, and that just about sums it up with the kick straight over off the touchline, and it's been a superb kicking performance in particular from Whitby.
That is tonight in a nutshell, isn't it? George Whitby's boot tearing Oldham apart here at Boundary Park.
I think it's going to be a long 10 or 11 minutes for Oldham. I think that the body language, they look beaten, both emotionally and physically and on the scoreboard. But need some pride. You know, there's Oldham fans that, you know, there's a good number of them over there, and they want to see their team committed till the hooter, regardless of the score.
I just wonder, Ian, and this is a debate that seems to go on year with the playoff structure, but Oldham had last week off, just a bye in the league structure the way that it is. Halifax obviously didn't, and they have looked sharper. Coaches will tell you that they want the rest, but when you see this, maybe there is an argument that, you know, when you get to this time of year, just keep playing.
Yeah, well, I know if you remember Lee in Super League, you know, Lee had a week off, and it just didn't work for them. They didn't play well after the little break, and you know, will that happen with York and Toulouse? You know, will the week off mean that Bradford if they should beat Featherstone, and Halifax here, them being buoyed because of the win, playing at the intensity for one more week. Will that week, I suppose the results next week will tell.
Well, probably the first poor kick of the afternoon there from a Halifax perspective, so it will be a 20-metre restart for Oldham. Jack Ormonroyd is down, just receiving a little bit of treatment. This is the injury. Looks like he gets his knee maybe caught, or his ankle perhaps, just goes the wrong way. It's his ankle that he's holding. And he's being helped off the field by 2 trainers, so that looks like a sorry end to what has been a torrid season for Jack Ormonroyd, who can take so much credit for the way that he's stuck by the Salford situation for so long. And ankle's not supposed to do that.
No, it's not.
Conducted himself brilliantly throughout what has been a fiasco of the Salford Red Devils, and then joining Oldham late in the season, he limps off field here at Boundary Park.
9 minutes.
Hopefully it'll be nothing more than a few weeks of rest and rehab and ice, and he'll be good to go when the pre-season starts in a few months. These seasons, they come and go incredibly quick, and these guys have been started training. Yeah, they started training in December just for this business end of the season, and look at the energy and the intensity of the defence, even though they know they've won this game. It's outstanding from Halifax tonight.
Well, the confidence and the adrenaline that must be rattling around that Halifax team at the moment. They have put on a clinic tonight,
Up and square.
and they will be full of confidence as they march on in this playoff series. And the standard tonight from both, and there's been some good stuff from Oldham as well, but the standard from a Halifax perspective has just been absolutely superb, and as you've mentioned, they deserve their place in the semi-finals as well. That brings us out to the left-hand side. Drinkwater will put a kick up into the air. Nofaluma goes up. First mistake he's made, but I think it will come back for a knock-on, possibly 2 knock-ons. We'll just see which way the referee adjourns. In fact, we are going to come back for and play the ball, so it will be Halifax ball.
But they challenged him this time. I think that's probably the first kick.
The first time he's been under pressure, isn't it, for a long time in this game?
Yeah, it was a better kick, it was a deeper kick, it was a higher kick, and somebody challenged. I know it didn't come off for Oldham. It'd be interesting to know if York and or Toulouse, but York, as it's going to turn out, will have a representative here tonight, because
sure we'll be watching.
It'll be interesting what messages they take back for the week. For me, it'll be, you've got to get to Whitby, you've got to stop that kick, you've got to put pressure on, because they've absolutely murdered Oldham in the kicking game tonight.
Yeah, I'm sure they've got someone here, or maybe they've got the feed up at home watching it here on the Sportsman. It has been our absolute pleasure again this season to bring you live coverage for a range of competitions, but there is no doubt about it, this is the best time of year. You can't beat playoff rugby league football. First taste of it tonight, and we've seen a masterclass from the Halifax Panthers, and this man in particular. George Whitby used to have a kick through, and that's taken in by Lola Tonga guy, who's had a difficult assignment. The youngster.
I know you talk about how dominant Halifax have been, but in spells, some of the Oldham attacking play in particular has been really good. They've just not had that last pass or that last kick to convert that pressure into points. But you know, Oldham have played their part in what might seem like a one-sided game, but you know how quick it's gone. There's been some outstanding, entertaining rugby league tonight.
Oldham will look back on moments in this game, especially those first sort of 8 or 9 minutes and spells in that first half, and just think if they'd have had a bit more composure, a bit more clinical, then this game might have had a different story to it. As Milner applies the football skills, almost works his way through, Whitby picks it up, steps away from a couple of tackles and could be away. Eventually brought down on the 20-metre mark.
Adam Milner's give everything tonight. He's tackled his heart out. and he's had his hands on the ball a lot. And just that grubber kick through, the bounce of the ball, it's just not gone his way at all tonight. And it came out with Whitby, who's been mercurial when it comes to the kick game.
Wait, go.
So Halifax back with ball in hand and into Oldham's half.
Move! Make it matter. Hold! He's trapped! Goal for.
And they can just enjoy the last 5 or 6 minutes of this game, knowing the job is done, knowing their place in the semi-finals is confirmed. Carl Eastman will be full of pride for the way that his team have played tonight. They've got a big job to do next week, of course, as Ethan Ryan is stopped a few metres away from his own goal line. Brierley will try and get out of trouble. He's done well there, Ryan Brierley. Another player that's had a real crack tonight.
There's in Clinton.
Ethan Ryan again. We said about Jack Ormonroyd and what he's been through this season with the Salford situation. Ryan Brierley and Ethan Ryan very much in that camp as well.
They've given their all, haven't they? You know, nobody can shirk their attitude and their endeavour and their aptitude. It's just not been tonight, but you know, they've tried incredibly hard, coming with new teammates, a new team after the debacle, or as some call it, or whatever has gone on at Salford, and they've played their hearts out, so nobody can question how hard they played for that Oldham shirt tonight.
So Nofaluma under another drink water kick. Ian, I'm going to give you a minute or so to think about your Betfred player of the match. I think it might be quite an easy choice tonight. There is a standout candidate, I think, without saying any names. But I tell you what, I'll give you to the end of this Halifax set.
Move! Don't be going early. Wait. Go to.
Crooks up over the line towards the 40-metre mark.
Release that win.
Talk about all the experience in this Oldham side. Well, Ben Crooks is full of it for Halifax, and he's been lively tonight, scoring, of course, and really good in defence.
Adam. Go for. Move to the side.
Now they come out for the left. Are there more points in this game for Halifax? There could well be. It's a loose forward going the distance. Jacob Fairbank scores from 20 metres away, and that is the cherry on the cake for the Halifax Panthers. It just opened like the Red Sea in front of Jacob Fairbank, and he raced through to score. He showed a great turn of pace there for that last 20 metres, and nothing more that he deserved. We are going to talk about the backs and who've been the pick of the Halifax team, but the backs can't do what they do without the forward setting the platform, and Fairbank and Adam Tangata and Douglas, who scored a try, and you know, they've set the platform for the Halifax backs to do what they've done. And Charlie Graham's had a great game. You mentioned Ben Crooks in that set. You know, Ben's had an outstanding game. Do you want me to tell you who the man of the match is? If it's any bit of a surprise, it has to go to George Whitby.
Of course it does.
Not only his kicking game, his organisation. You know, we get the view of the pitch here, and you can see he's moving players into position. It's not just his kicking game, his organisation, his shape, how he's moved players around, how he's done little drop-off passes, and he has absolutely deserved the man of the match tonight, and I'm sure he will crown that by putting this right between the middle of the post, and I think York will be quite worried about this young man next week, and I think there'll be a lot of possibly Super League eyes on him going forward, because he's
plenty of St Helens eyes on, of course, his parent club, and well, I hope he's in a Halifax shirt next week. The Saints have obviously playoff ambitions of their own, but George Whitby has been a shining star in this performance tonight, and he is the Betfred player of the match, rightfully so. I'm not sure there's anyone watching this, Ian, that would dare disagree with you on that one, although as we see that try from Jacob Fairbank,
1 minute 10.
There are plenty of players in this Halifax side who have contributed to what has been a wonderful performance.
Yeah, we can give him that as try of the night for his endeavour there.
loose forward to
one of a few tries that hasn't come from the boot.
Yeah.
Of George Whitby. Short kick-off from Oldham. Ethan Ryan knocks it forwards. So it will be Halifax ball.
I think this Hooter can't come quick enough for Oldham.
No.
You know, I think it is knockout rugby, so you don't get a second chance. And the body language, they've had enough. They're quite comfortable now with Halifax getting the ball, but as we saw there with the Oldham player, Jack Ormonroyd, when you go into a tackle, you've got to give it your endeavour, otherwise you can come away injured. So they'll still play out these 2 or 3 minutes that's left to make sure that they don't get injured. And just finishing off what has been a really good season for Oldham. You know, like I said, be careful what you wish for. They come up from League One last year and they've more than held their own. They made the playoffs and they should be very proud of what they're achieving here at Boundary Park under Bill Quinn and Mike Ford.
So a bit of invention here, perhaps, even Ryan going after that kick from Brierley, but
surrender.
In the end,
stand. Wait, Adam, do not go away. Wait.
That will be that. Halifax's night in the Betfred Championship Eliminators. The party spoiled here at Boundary Park as Oldham bow out after a fantastic return to the second tier for them, but it is Halifax's night under the lights here in Oldham. A sparkling performance inspired by that man George Whitby, who had his fingertips and his boot over everything good for the away side. And it will be the Panthers who march on to the Final Four in the Betfred Championship. Keep your eyes peeled, by the way. We will have confirmation of more live coverage for you very, very shortly. We are not done for the season. Oldham are, but Halifax march boldly on in a performance that will have them full of confidence as they go into next week. And those Fax fans on that left-hand side who have been so vocal all night, well, I think I've never been on a night out in Halifax, but I reckon it'll be all right tonight as the two teams congratulate each other on the end. Ian, I'm going to leave you to talk us through the highlights from that game. I'm going to head pitch side and get some reaction from our player of the match and coaches.
So the first try here, again, George Whitby, perfectly weighted kick. The Oldham defenders didn't know what to do, and Graham managed to get on it to put it down before the ball went dead. And Paul Martlove, the touch judge, in a great position in the corner. Again, Douglas forcing his way over. Adam O'Brien doing a little pass on the inside, a little grubber kick here. Again, the Oldham defenders didn't know what to do, and Ben Crooks doing what Ben Crooks has done for many years and just saw it through to the grounding for a well-worked try. Again, Whitby passed. Nofaluma against a tired defence that just couldn't get across. Matty Ashers couldn't quite cover, and he went through a gaping hole, and it was all Halifax in that first half and fully deserved the lead. Second half, we've got Woodburn Hall, made a break and then backed it up, and just a really well executed try on the short side. And just look at his excitement, just look at there. Just wait, got a 3v2, pass to the winger. Tibbs waited for Brierley, and then a perfectly weighted inside pass for James Woodburn Hall. And look how excited he looks there. He knows that Halifax are going through. Oldham tried, they scored one try where it was a nice little pass on from Ryan Brierley and Ethan Ryan going in, but it just was too little too late. But a really well worked try, and to be fair to Oldham, they had the moments, especially where Brierley were concerned, where he came in and tried to inject some pace on those edges, but a lot of the scrambling Halifax defence. And this try here, Nofaluma again, just nobody could hold him, a tired Oldham defence. And again, Charlie Graham just scoring an easy try in the corner. By this time, Oldham were tired and they were just never going to get across to that edge to stop. And look how jubilant he looks in front of all those Halifax fans. And then to cap it off, Jacob Furbank, 25 metres, slides in, and probably the try of the game will give him that. He was outstanding, and just look at the joy on those Halifax players. They know they've got another week to go, and what could happen? Could they get to a grand final? But just look at Jacob Furbank there. He forced his way to the line, and look, there were 3-4 Oldham defenders who just lost their heart at that time because they knew the game was over. But Jacob Furbank wasn't bothered about that. He wanted to get over and score this try. Little step. By this time, a lot of the Oldham defenders, they were just using arms and hands and not really getting the shoulder into the tackle. And he's mobbed there, and a really outstanding game. And Halifax, they were absolutely superb. So the tries there, one try from Oldham by Ethan Ryan, not converted. Just all those tries. Graham 2, Douglas, Crooks, Nofaluma, Woodburn Hall, Furbank and Whitby. As we mentioned all night, he kicked 6 from 7 and several from the touchline, and absolutely superb stuff. Yeah, I think if York was, they'll be really worried about next week. I think because Halifax played outstanding. Will York, the week off, me and Lewis were talking, when you have a week's break, Oldham had a week's break because they got the bye last week, and I don't think it did them any favour. I think sometimes you need to go into a game enthused and playing week in, week out, especially at this stage of the season, because you know you're only one game from finishing your season. Really important for the momentum of Halifax. We talk about momentum in rugby league. Will they take the momentum into York next week, or will York beat them? Yeah, we're going to go to Lewis now, who I think will probably have the winning coach with him.
So not Oldham's night here at Boundary Park, but wonderful scenes in that corner behind us as Halifax Panthers celebrate with their supporters. They go marching on to the semi-finals in the Betfred Championship. They will play York Knights, who of course are going after the treble. They've won the 1895 Cup, they've won the League Leaders Shield. They will be hunting that grand final win in a couple of weeks' time, but they will have to get through a Halifax team that will be full of confidence after a superb performance here under the lights at Boundary Park. Victory for the Bradford Bulls as well. They will travel to Toulouse in a replay of one of last year's semi-finals. The French side came out on top of that occasion. It's a revenge mission for the Bulls. All eyes, of course, on who will be in that expanded Super League next season. It won't be solely decided on the pitch, as we know, but these clubs know that if they can get themselves into that grand final and get silverware in their hands, it will only help their cause. And well, from minute one tonight, this game had that playoff intensity, that playoff feel to it. Oldham starting like a house on fire, of course, but after that it was all the Halifax Panthers who roared into life here at Boundary Park and roar into the semi-finals. As I say, keep your eyes peeled. We'll have confirmation of our next live offering very, very shortly. It'll be a special edition of The Last Tackle on Wednesday night as we go to the playoff launch for the Betfred Super League and the Dream Team announcement as well. But tonight it is all about playoff rugby league and the Betfred Championship. It is all about the scenes behind me as Halifax have booked their place in the semi-finals. In the end, it all came quite easy for the home side. A revenge mission after 2 defeats against Oldham this season, but as we mentioned with Ian Smith in commentary, Oldham can take a lot of heart from the way that they've competed on their return to the second tier. Betfred League One champions, of course, last year, promoted automatically and have kept pace with the best in the Betfred Championship for much of this season, but perhaps tonight just a hurdle too far. We are going to get some reaction for you very shortly. George Whitby, our Betfred player of the match, making his way over. We'll try and hear from the Halifax head coach, Carl Eastman, as well, and what has been a famous night for a famous club. It's a long season, of course. We saw glimpses of it early on in their Challenge Cup campaign here on the Sportsman, but tonight an absolute clinic from the Halifax Panthers here at Boundary Park. It's lit the blue touch paper on playoff season. Loads still to come, of course. We'll hand over to our friends at Sky Sports for the Betfred Super League playoffs, the Women's Super League playoffs, and we'll check grand final. But here at Boundary Park, we can hear from our Betfred player of the match, George Whitby. George, I'll just bring you in. If you could just grab that microphone down there for me. What a performance. You weathered a storm for the first 8 minutes of that game, and then once you'd done that, it never looked like you were in doubt.
Yeah, I think all the boys, I couldn't fault them all. You know, they come with a strong mindset, and we just backed every one of us 100%, and we stuck to a game plan for the 80 minutes, and that's what we talked about coming up.
It must be a strange season for you personally, in a way, dipping out of different sides, but it looked tonight like you've been playing with that team all your life. Yeah, it has been a bit frustrating at times. You know, I was made up to get the chances I got back at Saints in my own town club, but Kyle's been brilliant with me. You know, he's always had that looking for an opportunity for me to get some game time if it doesn't work out, and obviously that's my first game back in a few weeks, so I'm just really glad to get back out there. But yeah, what a game to be involved in. It was your kicking game tonight that really stood out and that earned you the Betfred player of the match title. But was that something that you'd spoken about with Kyle and your teammates in the build-up? It looked like a kind of real tactical plan, the way that you kicked today. Yeah, I think in these playoff games, I think you build the game off your kicking game, and obviously pinning them down in the right areas of the field and really getting after them and keeping them inside their own half. But yeah, I like to think, you know, tactically we put a good kicking game on and worked hard without the ball, which gave us the opportunity to play in the back end of the sets when we got the ball back. I know you'd have come into this game full of confidence. Kyle said that you were backing yourselves tonight and knew that you could get the job done. Has the manner of the win, the manner of the performance even surprised you guys a little bit? Yeah, well, like you say, playoff games, it's anyone's game, isn't it? You're both coming up with a hungry mindset, and you're all... You notice the ball's in for plays for longer periods of time, and it's that set-for-set game. But I think we just blew him off the park early on, but we didn't get bored of that. You know, we kept going after him and stuck to it for the full 80. So I'm really proud of the boys. You'll go on to semi-final football next week against York. There isn't a more informed team in the World Rugby League at the moment, but I guess the confidence after that is going to be through the roof. Oh yeah, like you say, we do obviously have a focus on the opposition, but the main focus was just back to on us. You know, we know what we can do as a team, and we'll go there full of confidence. But you know, we've got a big job to do next week, building up to the game. Well, George, congratulations, well done on the performance tonight and the win. We'll bring your head coach Kyle Eastman in now. We'll let you go and get yourself changed. Kyle, before the game, you told me that you were backing yourselves tonight and you were confident you could get a result. You got a result, and what a performance to go with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Really pleased for the players there. Just what's really pleasing is everything that we prepared and we talked about and we trained for, they went out there and delivered, and I think that's all I can ask for. I know what's in the changing room, and like I said, I'm just really happy for them.
People will look at the amount of points that you scored and you know, be impressed by that, but from a coaching perspective, is it the defensive effort tonight that's the most pleasing?
We won that game. Yeah, we won that game. We kind of broke the game by our defence when we had 5 sets on our own line within 10 minutes, and we turned them away. I feel like that was a big moment. Although it was early in the game, I felt like that was a big moment. And I think sometimes in big games you can win a game without the ball, and we certainly did that.
I'm going to talk about those first 10 minutes because you played most of it without the football.
Yeah.
Oldham started fast, put you deep in your own territory straight away, but was there almost an element of taking confidence from that because you were able to keep them out? Because as soon as you got the ball, you looked like a dangerous team.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we understood this week is discipline with the ball and defending your own goal line will give us a good chance of winning the game. And immediately we was put under pressure, weren't we? And Oldham was great in that first 10, 15, 20 minutes, whatever it was. But like you say, I think it did give us that confidence that we managed to turn them away 5 times in a row. So congrats to the lads.
We all know what George Whitby can do. I know you'll be hoping that you can keep holding him for next week as well. But he was magnificent tonight, wasn't he?
Yeah, he deserves everything he gets. Because he's a pure, genuine rugby league player who wants to do well for himself and he works hard in his game. And it's just a pleasure to work with him when we can and support him when we can and ultimately help him. And I'm glad for him tonight that he got the man of the match.
semi-final football next week. You'll go to the winners of the League Leaders Shield, York. They've had a fantastic season, but I suppose you've just set the blueprint tonight for how to play in those kind of games.
Yeah, absolutely, and let's not get carried away. They're a great team. They really are. We've played them 3 times this year, and we know how good they are, and we know that we're going to have to be at our best to beat them, and we will be, and we'll just work hard again this week, stick to what we can do, and hopefully we can do a good job.
Well, Carl, congratulations. We'll see you next week.
Thank you very much.
Great to have you with us. I'll bring my co-commentator Ian Smith back in now. Carl, you can go and
Thanks, Carl.
say congratulations to your players. What a night here at Boundary Park for the Halifax Panthers. We didn't know what we were going to get tonight in terms of a result. It always felt like a game that was winnable for both teams, but the level of the performance, the nature of the victory from Halifax perspective, the real remarkable thing tonight.
Yeah, I don't think we expected that. That first half performance, first 10 minutes, it were all Oldham, and then once Halifax got a grip, and they just wanted it more. The kicking game, we were just talking off camera there, and the kicking game was outstanding, and that was the difference in the two teams. And Oldham, you could see their heads dropping. The more points, obviously, that Halifax were scoring, the more demoralised Oldham were, and they just couldn't get a foothold. And unfortunately, the Oldham kicking game tonight was no good. We were just again talking off camera. The Nofaluma, he's done that for years. You know, your little chips hope, your little floaty bombs. He's got to be put under pressure, and he wasn't tonight. And fully deserved a really, really well worked team performance, and the shape and the dynamism, the effort, the attitude, the power. That last try from Furbank, that just epitomised how dominant Halifax were tonight.
It'll take a few days, I would expect, for the dust to settle from an older perspective on what happens tonight, but it shouldn't diminish on their achievement this season. First year back in the Betfred Championship, as we've mentioned a couple of times, and mixing it with the best in the playoffs, and they can take a lot of credit for what they've done this year.
Oh, very much so. Again, be careful what you wish for. Oldham came up from League One last year. They're building for the future. I just passed and shook Mike Ford's hand up there. He's demoralised, even though they are building for the future. All Oldham fans, the players, the coaching staff, the directors, they're all impatient. They want it now, as we do as rugby league fans. But they've just got to try to understand just how far they have come in a very short space of time. They're in a great stadium, they've got a wonderful pitch, they've got a good board of directors, an outstanding coach and a good set of players, and don't throw the baby out with the bathwater just because they were dominated by an outstanding Halifax team tonight.
Yeah, end of the road in 2025 for Oldham, but not for the Halifax Panthers, who go on to semi-final football against the York Knights next week. Meanwhile, the Bradford Bulls will travel to Toulouse in the other semi-final in the Betfred Championship. Of course, playoff season right across the game. Betfred Super League playoffs get up and running as we really start on the road to Old Trafford. And of course, we've got the Betfred Women's Super League and the Wheelchair Super League coming to a conclusion as well. But here at Boundary Park, it has finished with the Halifax Panthers going through to the semi-finals. As I say, keep your eyes out. We've got more on the way next weekend. Wednesday night, the last tackle will be from the playoff launch of the Betfred Super League. Join us for that one. Ian, thank you for joining us. Thank you for tuning in at home. Playoff season is well and truly underway.